Now, today's top stories and Power of 5 weather from News 5. Sponsored by Akron Children's Hospital.
Good Sunday morning, Northeast Ohio, as we mark the double celebration this day of Father's Day and Juneteenth. An eventful week on Wall Street following the Fed's decision to take the biggest step yet towards curbing inflation, raising its benchmark interest rate by 3/4 of a point. It is the biggest single increase since 1994. They also signaled they're not done as fears of a recession loom. This morning we look at one area of the Northeast Ohio economy where we are all feeling it: food. The rising price of fuel is something Americans can attempt to dance around by driving less, walking, public transit. The rising price of your grocery bill, though, is not as easy to manage.
Literally can't really make up the difference. It's just I gotta buy it. I got 4 kids and I don't really have a choice.
While groceries have gone up as a whole 11.9% over last year, we've broken down on our News 5 app items that have outpaced that rate. Chicken and eggs are impacted by not only inflation, but the avian flu in the U.S. So if you're looking to grill some chicken this weekend, the price of a pound of boneless chicken breast is up nearly 40% since the beginning of 2019. But get this, the cost of a dozen eggs has increased a staggering 81% in that same time. Coffee with your eggs also shot up some 30% over the last 3 years. And Northeast Ohio farmers remind us that the prices we're paying for a lot of items now are based on last year's harvest, with the true impact of what's happening now, especially the cost of fuel, fertilizer, weed killers. That's going to impact grocery prices even more in the months to come. Well, it was an eventful week when it came to guns in Ohio. Monday was the first day of permitless carry in the state, and it was also the day that Governor DeWine signed a bill that would allow school staff to carry a firearm. House Bill 99 allows each school board to allow any staff member to carry a firearm in school with just 24 hours of training. Most state Republicans and firearm associations say this will increase public safety since many more people will have a weapon on them. But many educators, law enforcement officers, parents, and Democrats say this is a dangerous and wrong move.
I'm committed to continuing to do all we can to be a resource for our teachers, administrators, and other school staff to help protect our kids. I want to take a moment to commend Ohio's school officials, our teachers, who have worked very hard to prevent, avert, and avoid tragedies.
We've been on the front line of the pandemic. We've been on the front line of the culture wars that we didn't create. And now we're being asked to be on the front line when it comes to safety against armed intruders. And I think for so many of our educators across the state, they're just saying enough is enough.
Although the governor is asking everyone to complete 24 hours of training, he says he doesn't know how much of that training will be holding a live firearm versus instruction. The curriculum is being drafted at this point, and a number of details have not yet been decided on. No need to see the details since the Cleveland Metropolitan School District. At a special board meeting this week, CMSD passed a resolution stating that employees who are not working as safety or security officers would not be authorized to be armed with guns within school buildings and on school grounds. Board members argued the legislation is not the answer to stop violence from happening in schools.
To think that fighting fire with fire is good public policy is ludicrous in my mind, and I'm very happy that at the local level we are taking this action.
And again, individual school boards have the ultimate say whether they will be able to choose to send their staff members off to training. Some staff could be armed by mid-fall. On this Father's Day, a point of personal privilege. I'd like to tap the brakes, if you will, from the hearings in Washington and the other ongoing debates and share with you the story of a father who made history here at News 5 with the music show Upbeat more than a half-century ago, and the son that followed in his footsteps, blazing his own trail in the music industry that is celebrated now in a new book. David Spiro's office is filled with reminders of a life in music, a life in the wings, each carrying with it a memory of a life spent on the road.
When I come home, I'm always telling stories of, oh, this happened with Ringo, or this happened with Joe Walsh, or this happened with Dickie Betts, or Cat Stevens, or whatever it is. And so literally for like 15 years now, people have been telling me, you got to write a book. And
so he finally did. A Life in the Wings is a look back on a career that started much younger than most and started right here at News 5, where Spiro's father was the producer of the legendary music show Upbeat.
Obviously, for me, that's where everything started. Holding the cue cards for Don Webster, meeting people like Otis Redding and Tommy James and the Rolling Stones and everybody that came through the Channel 5 studios. That was a huge part of my life growing up.
Otis Redding's last television performance before dying in a plane crash in 1967 was on Upbeat, and Redding spent the night before that appearance playing cards at the Spiro house. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Benjamin Orr of the Cars was in an upbeat house band, as was another future Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Joe Walsh.
Actually, the Big Five show before it was upbeat, and Joe was in a band called the Measles.
It was Walsh, a future client, who set Spiro, who was working as a young DJ, on the path to becoming a manager.
This is why I think you should start managing artists. I think you have what it takes to do that. And he said, I have an artist for you.
It was a young Michael Stanley. The two would forge a bond that would last the entirety of their careers. Stanley's death last year, a loss Spiro says he took hard.
Michael and I had lunch every Friday that both of us were in town for probably 50 years. It was just something we did.
As we head into Father's Day, Spiro thinks of his dad as he reflects on both his life in the wings and the lessons he learned under his father's wing.
It started me in so many ways. He taught me so many lessons. He taught me how to do what I do.
And continues to do, with still more chapters in this career to be written. And I would be remiss if I didn't share one other historical Father's Day note. It was actually on this date 6 years ago, June 19th, 2016, that the Cavs gave all of us the ultimate Father's Day present, that NBA championship. With Democracy 2022, I'm John Kasich. Enjoy your Sunday.
I'm Power 5 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. Happy Juneteenth, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. It's going to be a beautiful Father's Day, and we also have something else to get excited about. We're just a couple of days away from the official kickoff of the summer season. Summer solstice beginning at 5:14 a.m. this coming Tuesday. But before we get to the start of summer, let's talk about what's happening for our Father's Day today. And it looks absolutely gorgeous out there. Hopefully you can spend some time with Dad, or at least call and tell him hello. Stellar weather, though, if you're going to be outdoors across Northeast Ohio. Not much wind today to deal with, and temperatures are staying comfortable in the low 70s. Dew points are also staying on the low side in the 40s. That means that air feels great, refreshing. So it's going to be perfect for any park, golf, picnic plans, brunch plans. Temperatures, though, start to heat up a bit for Monday with the warm front. That will bring a few showers. We'll really start to sizzle and bake Tuesday and Wednesday.
Sponsored by Akron Children's Hospital.